I think you need to say clearly what happened.
Who gives a fuck? I don't care if you personally kick Candace Owens and her stinky
cray-cray.
No good thing starts with, I was thinking about my ex.
He ain't learned his lesson. That's a brother ain't gonna learn shit.
I know this is gonna be about you and I don't care.
Let's keep this shit funky.
What's crackulating? What's unpopping, good people? Welcome to the Unpopular Opinion Show, aka Unpoppin Show. I'm T Storm, and joined by, as always, my partner in crime, my man DJ Mike Swift.
What's happening? What's
What
cracking?
is the dealio?
Nothing much, man. It's been an interesting weekend for sure.
Yeah,
but you know, we're here by the grace of God. It's a good day.
I don't know. I guess the marketing plan has been pretty successful for the queer community, because when you said we're here, all I heard next was we're queer. We're here. We're queer. Get over it, or whatever it is. I'm like, damn, that's stuck out. Okay, sorry.
That would have been one hell of a weekend. When he went into the weekend, he was straight. Now he's gay. What the hell happened?
He's not queer. That's interesting. Okay, all right. Stranger things have happened.
Not to me.
So, well, all right. Happy belated birthday, or just happy forever birthday to my wife, Kim. So, celebrated a birthday, and we have to do a do-over because the gathering we were going to do had to be postponed because we both woke up with sore throats for some reason. It was just weird. Yeah, it was nothing.
Okay.
But see, that's the kind of climate. Like you wait before you wake up with a sore throat. It's like, my throat don't feel good. You know, and you proceed. And now it's like, oh shit. Oh shit, do we need to go get tested? And the shit was gone, and it was like, all right, well, some tea and some throat lozenges, and we was both good. So, I don't know. Anyway.
Stop walking around licking them COVID doorknobs. You'll be fine.
That's good advice. I have to tell the same thing to my dog, because he's the one that does all that shit around here. We wondering how the dogs don't come down with shit, because anyway, that's a whole nother story. And then there are certain people in the population that let dogs lick them in the face. I watched him lick his nuts. One of my neighbors do that. He's so cute, and he's looking at, and I'm standing there like.
I swear, folks, we did not start this to talk about dogs and licking in the face and COVID. However, comma. My ex-girlfriend, and I loved her to pieces. I loved her dog, but she used to kiss her dog in the mouth, and I had to tell her, if you kissing that dog, you ain't gonna be kissing me. Sorry, it ain't happening.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's nasty.
I'm
a dog lover now. I have a dog. I love my dog. He's a special guy. He'll never kiss me in the face. Now while I'm awake. now while I'm awake. That's just not gonna happen. If I'm awake, and he understands that. Close, he looks me in my face like, is it gonna happen today? And I go, nah, motherfucker, nope. And we go about our business. But in any case,
your dog wants to make out with you.
Yeah, that's just way of showing love. He's like, you can rub my belly, but that's a one-way thing, dude. I rub your belly. That's as close as we getting. Shit, man. Okay. How can I say this without sounding uber petty? Because it's going to be uber petty, and I'll try not to say. I won't say any names, but I was I recently got some news that an old ex, like is getting divorced. And I was like, oh man, that's terrible. I'm really sorry to hear that. But then the petty side of me in the back of my head was like, aha, I feel vindicated because it's not me. See, it ain't me. That's twice. Sorry. Okay, that's enough.
Because I am currently embroiled in my fair amount of legal stuff associated with exes, I am going to reserve my jokes and opinions for that, and I'm just going to smile deviously.
I can respect that. I never, honestly, truthfully, I never like to hear people are getting divorced. But when it happens, especially if I know the people, it makes sense. Sorry it happened, but I can't say I didn't see it coming. But listen, I'll leave it alone. Anyway,
so what are we here to react to today?
Are we reacting or are we doing a full episode?
Let's just do a full show. Let's just run it.
I bet. A lot of hot button topics happening, a lot of different things happening. I know you said you wanted to talk about R. Kelly.
I did. I mean, because, it's been a while since we've done a full hour show. In that time, R. Kelly was found guilty, I think, on all charges, including racketeering, trafficking, child endangerment, all kinds of stuff.
Kicking a dog.
They discovered they found out through discovery that on the weekends he pulls wings off of butterflies, right? Like it was just all kinds of stuff. And how does the community respond to who we all either knew in our heart of hearts or suspected low key was and I'm stuttering because I'm dancing around YouTube safe language. We all suspected that he was a person who did bad things to the younger demographic, right?
I mean, he named himself the Pied Piper.
He did name himself the Pied Piper. Like,
you understand the story of the Pied Piper, you understand that reference. I thought it was weird when he was calling himself the Pied Piper, and it was like right in the thick of things happening, and he called himself the Pied Piper. I was like, he doesn't read. And then I found out he doesn't read. So
I think he read and he just middle fingered the world like, I'm too rich and powerful to get caught up on this stuff. But he was found guilty of this stuff. We all kind of knew, right? How does our community respond to the guilty verdict? Going out and buying all of his records and streaming all of his crap. R. Kelly's music. Let me pull up the article so I'm not saying this wrong. The week following Kelly's conviction, his on-demand audio streams were up 22%, while his video streams were up 23% compared to the previous 7 days.
Yeah. YouTube responded by pulling down those channels. Listen, I look at it a couple of different ways. I understand that. I mean, I don't think it's just people going, F that, I think it's kind of mourning the death of someone's music that you respect. It's like the same thing. Only difference is he's walking dead. He'll be in jail for the rest of his life, right? When an artist passes away, and their music always spikes. I think this was a sort of death, and how people were mourning, if you will, the loss of this artist.
What bugs me the most, though, and I've made this assertion a few times in the past, is when we turn away, when we say, okay, we know this is happening. We saw the tape of the water sports. We know he's doing it, but I like his song anyway. I'm trying to find nice words, right? Like, folks, if you can't tell, I'm trying to clean up my act, right? Like, yeah. I'm trying to clean it up so YouTube will stop not recommending us. Right. But when he's engaged in these types of activity, and then you still buy, play, support his record, you are creating an environment where he can do it, right? If he was just some guy who worked at the library or worked at the gas station, he might come up on something from time to time, still bad, but he wouldn't have this influence over the masses and this access to these impressionable, I was about to say young girls, but it was two young gentlemen who levied accusations as well. So it's supporting him musically kind of gives him the license, so to speak, to continue to do it.
I think it's different right now for him, though. It's not, I mean, yes, while he was still, well, shoot, I'm watching the documentaries, allegedly, when he was on trial last time, 10 years ago or so, a little more than 10 years ago, he was like soliciting and going after young girls on his way into the courtroom.
It's not funny, but it's funny.
It's not funny, but it's bold as hell. That's brazen like a mug. So clearly has a problem. But here's the flip side of it, and I get it. For people that, I mean, music is a time machine, right? It locks us into certain time frames, time periods, of good or bad. And you know, there are people that got married to his music. There are music that had graduations. Like I think I know somebody who's like, was it middle school graduation song was I Believe I Could Fly. Looking back on it now, it's like, can you? But yeah,
there's a joke there. I can't quite find it, but it's there.
I mean, if they had tried hard enough, he'd have came and performed it live. But that's neither here nor there. Hey, like, is junior high school? Oh, I'm there. I'm there. College, get these old broads away from me.
He'd have been in there passing out his card. Call me.
I believe the children are the future. That's where you go. But in case, all I'm saying is, there are people, you know, there's music is a time machine and it locks into memories and different things in your life. And, you know, for folks that have attached memories and moments, you know, with his music, it's kind of hard to kind of just snip that off and go and try to pretend like it didn't exist. People partied to this music. They got married. They graduated. It runs the, you know what I mean? So you can't just snip it and go, you know, and be like, act like it never existed. That's hard to do. Now, before he was on trial, I would tell, because I had some coworkers, women that were adamant supporters of R. Kelly and was listening to, like, was like, yeah, I still support him. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, I understand the old stuff that you know, but anything new that's coming out, you shouldn't support, because this is like with knowledge of what he was doing. If let's say back then you didn't know and now you know, right?
Right. And
he comes out with a new album, you can't go stream that new album now, understanding that some of the inspiration for Black Panties was actually a 14-year-old girl.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You get what I'm saying? I said that to my friends, like, she was like, you tainting it. I'm like, well, yes, it's tainted.
It's tainted. And that was going to be my question, right? So how much does a person have to do to really be canceled, right? Like not this cancel culture stuff, but at what point do we say, okay, yeah, no, I'm not fucking with you, right? Like, I mean, to me, I feel like he crossed that line over 10 years ago.
He crossed out several times. Yeah.
When it came out, I stopped playing his records. I stopped as a DJ. No R. Kelly records, not playing them, not doing it.
You saying 10 years ago, or are you going back further when the first alleged videos came out?
When
that was like 20 years ago.
When the first alleged videos came out, I don't think I was actually spinning at that time.
Because I remember very vividly, because I was on part of the production team for Wendy Williams reporting on these tapes and describing what she saw. Like somebody brought the tapes to her and she was in a van moving around the city watching some of the, and she described like the first one. It was kind of tongue in cheek because, you know, allegedly the girls were young, but you couldn't tell the ages because they were, you know, they could have been 19, you know, 18, right? You couldn't tell. There was no definite, you know, determining factor that. But then I heard it change. She reported on with the really, really young girl that had the waterworks happen. And Wendy broke on that one. Like, that's the one that was like, oh, this is, you know, and then it changed from then. So, but he continued making music and got more success. I mean, he had bigger hits even after that. And that was that had to be 98, 97, 98, 99, somewhere in there.
So if I think back, because I was spinning around that time, I think back with the first allegation, it wasn't enough concrete evidence to say, like, this was an underage person.
Right.
So I think then, like most people, my brain was, I don't know. I don't know. But then when it became a real thing, that was when I was like, I'm done. I can't support it. And the old stuff and the new stuff. And here's why. And not to belabor the point, because we got a lot of stuff to talk about, but how it works, how the money and power and influence works. As long as his records are played, he gets checks, he gets bookings, he does shows, he still has a level of influence. He could never record and release another new album, but he would, as long as people support his product, he's a significant figure in the culture, and he has a level of power and influence. I don't want to support that power and influence that will allow him to do what he was charged and convicted of. So I found the convictions just so I can be accurate. He was convicted of racketeering, exploitation of a young person, intimate physical exploitation of a young person. Aha, cancel that, YouTube. Kidnapping, bribery, intimate affairs with an individual, trafficking, and violation of the Mann Act of 2021. I don't know what the Mann Act is.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good, though.
And he was charged with, in 2002, he was charged with producing minor person intimate videos. Yeah. He was acquitted in 2008. And I think in 2008, he lost his mind. Because he's like, the system can't get me. I'm Teflon Don.
Again, if you've watched that documentary, there was a girl that was outside of the courtroom, young girl. She was like in high school. And she talked about it. He was like, had his eyes on her, trying to talk to her. I think he slid her number. She was in contact with him. And then after the case, whatever, she ended up being another one of the victims. Sick dude. I think in closing, what would probably do, it would still put money in his pocket ultimately. But for those that can't part with the music, I think Aaron Hall should go and re-record the entire catalog and we buy it from him.
Can we leave out the whole Closet series? You remind me of my Jeep, and anything that was generally dumb. Like, people would say he's a great writer, and I would listen to that music and be like, for real?
He wrote, it sounded like a literate person wrote a song. I did some of them, you know, and.
Oh, shit. I just had an epiphany.
What's that?
You said it sounded like an illiterate person wrote the song, and my brain said it sounded like a juvenile wrote those songs.
Mm.
So he might be mentally stuck in a juvenile space, and he never mentally grew out of that space, which could be a part of his problem.
Yeah, he was picking up girls at McDonald's. Stop this. Okay, enough. That's in Chicago. He was hanging out at the McDonald's.
No, he wasn't hanging out at the Playland, the McDonald's Playland.
then there's that. Anyway.
Oh yeah, I giggle because it's so ridiculous, but it's serious. If I'm allowed to share my personal feelings on it, you know, I hate to see brothers fall. However, I like to see people held accountable and justice be done. So there we go.
His prison tour ain't over. He still got to go back to Chicago. So anyway,
correct, because that was just Fed stuff. So
yeah,
they got to bounce his ass back to Chicago. And the latest thing is that he's going to cooperate.
I'm telling. It's bigger than Nino Brown. If I'm going down, there's a whole lot of people that need to go down. Shout out to Wesley Snipes.
Vivica got pulled into it because people started blasting her when she reported that he was going to essentially, cooperate with the feds to get other people that were involved, other celebrities that were engaging in this type of behavior. And she said snitches get stitches. And then her people followers was like, come on, girl, you knew what was going on. And she just popped off.
Yeah, but why would she say that though? I don't tell. If there's other folks that engage in what, okay. I don't know.
It's I think it's just some dumb.
Unless she's one of the people he about to tell on.
I'm trying to find her quote. Let me find Vivica's quote. Here's her quote. And he's a snitch. Snitches get stitches. Ain't that what it says? And then on Twitter, they came for her and she says, look here, asshole. I had no idea he was abusing young women. I'm a stand-up woman, so don't you dare bring your bitch ass over here and call me a coward. Now what?
Okay, Vivica, we love you, but you was out of line for that. Come on now, sister. Stop it. Stop it.
Is it just me? And I know we didn't, I'm now just kind of on one. Is it just me or is she just too damn old for that sister girl shit?
Nah, because what it turns into is endearing grandma. Everybody, some of us have, the grandma that don't take no mess, that'll still smack the mess out of you. I think that's what it eventually turns into. I don't know.
But that's the same grandma don't nobody fuck with. When the last time y'all saw grandma? I don't know. I ain't been over there. Well, why you ain't been over there? Why you ain't been, right? Like, don't nobody fuck with her.
She knocked out my wisdom tooth last time I was there. I ain't going over.
And I didn't need it removed.
It was a good tooth.
It was my favorite too.
All right. So while we're treading lightly, Chapelle dropped the closer on Netflix. And there's a lot of people that have been, there has been mixed reviews. There are a lot of people that's like, yeah, that was brilliant. And then there's a sect of, the population that's like, oh, he need to be canceled. He's talking bad about the LGBTQ plus. It's hate speech. It's problematic. It's, you just watched it.
I did. I just watched it a couple of hours ago.
And I understand, like, I'm going to attempt to be sympathetic and careful in what I say and not to offend anyone, which is impossible. If it's a joke, it's a joke. But how'd you feel about the material?
So I'm going to start with how I felt about the special and then work my way into this particular issue. Of the specials he's done on Netflix, that was not his funniest. Nor was it his most endearing and emotional, because he's had some of them that were just goddamn emotional. They weren't even that funny. They touched something. That one was a mix of the two. It was good, but I don't think it was his best, but it was good. And I recommend it because Chapelle, right? He was dead ass wrong for that leather outfit. He just was. It was an ill-fitting leather suit. And I was like, dude, you should have just thrown some jeans on a shirt, you know.
I reminiscent of Eddie Murphy with his ill-fitting mismatched leather suit.
Ooh, see, ooh.
He talked about, so Eddie Murphy Raw, for folks who are old enough to remember it, remember he had, if you go back and look at it, he has this red leather jacket and pants on, right? It's a suit. But I heard him talk about it later. And it's like something happened to whatever his outfit was going to be. And they had to pick that up real quick. And he wore that. It was mismatched leather that he wore out there. That was a last minute thing.
Yeah, there was a joke there that I'm just we're already exactly. Just give me the buzzer for even thinking it, and we're just gonna move on. So
Eddie Murphy, he's a genius.
He is indeed a genius. So that's my 30,000-foot view of the special. Now, the specific issue that he's having with it's not even the whole LGBTQ plus community, it's the T. And right. I won't even say it so we don't get banned for that. But I get it. I get the sensitivities. I get the struggle of the community. But for anyone to watch that special and classify what he said as hate speech, they didn't get it. That's all I could tell you, right? How do you watch that special, hear those jokes, and hear that very moving story that he told at the end that I will real talk tell you had me in tears? Gabby was looking at me like, yo, crying bitch. Like,
you gonna be all right? I need to get you some tissue,
right?
And a tampon.
Your panties chafing your balls, right? Like, but it was moving, and I think he did a masterful job of dealing with facts, feelings, realism, and making it funny and relatable.
Yeah.
To watch that and then be like, oh, this is hate speech, which is what they're calling it. It's hate speech and it's hateful, and he should be canceled for that. I think that's just, what special were they watching?
No, I mean, a lot of the things, and I'm gonna sound like an echo, so I won't even repeat it. I agree. I think the realism is you're never going to please everyone, and I think he's arrived at that point. Like, why try? You got what I heard what I said. I know I was there when I said it. What you're saying I said is not what I said. This is what I said. Go back and listen to it again and hear who I'm talking about. And they're just kind of picking it apart, so there's something there. Again, I understand the sensitivities and the nuance and stuff, but I didn't see it as hate speech. And understanding, there are jokes. It wasn't even mean-spirited jokes.
No, nothing about it was mean-spirited.
Yeah. Chapelle said some stuff, they'd be like, whoa. Like in the very beginning, the opening of the special, he said, I feel like he was saying some things for shock value in that, just because to open it up.
The Clifford joke, I was like, he did bring it back around, but I was just like, Yeah.
And I'm curious to know, because how bright Chapelle is. Speaking of Clifford, it's a brother by the name of Clifford Owensby, Dayton, Ohio. Paraplegic. I was pulled over and ultimately snatched out of his car by police. The video is hard to watch, I
It is
mean,
extremely hard to watch.
you know, and I saw an article that are we gonna run that video? Mike?
Let's run some of it. I can't I can't through all of it. So let's run a little bit of it, and I'll play a part and then skip ahead. So we don't have to, because it's a long video and it's really difficult to watch. So this is the trigger warning portion, ladies and gentlemen. If you are weak of stomach or faint of spirit, skip ahead like 3 minutes, because this is hard. So let's do that. All right, and let's just hit play.
And this, as he plays it, this incident happened about a month ago.
Sir,
And it just came to the public.
I got help getting out. I'm gonna help you getting out. Excuse me? I'm gonna help you getting out. Get out. Excuse me? I'm gonna help you getting out. Get out. Well, I don't think that's gonna happen, sir. I don't think that's gonna happen, sir. I do. I'm asking you, but I'm telling you. So it's not an option.
Can I ask what's the problem?
And the problem is that because our history of having a dog in the free air on the car. You have to be out of the car to do that.
I can't get out of the vehicle, sir.
Sir, I'm going to assist you out of it. As someone assist you in the
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not gonna touch me, and I'm definitely not about to touch me. And I'm about to go ahead and get somebody on the line because I.
Okay, so I'm gonna skip ahead because you get the gist of what's happening. He's paraplegic, pulled over at a traffic stop. Don't know what the traffic stop is for at this point. And they're saying step out of the car. He's saying I can't step out of the car, and they're like, we're gonna take you out of the car. And he has very legitimate.
Well, help you.
Right.
Oh, that's not a.
I didn't ask for your help. Right. So, obviously he has very real concerns. He is a paraplegic. You can't just handle him any kind of way, right? You have to be careful, and that's essentially what he's telling him. So let's go back full and then skip ahead a little bit more and see.
Hey, bro, can you come down the street?
What gets me about it?
Ferguson and Grand just pulled me over. The police just pulled me
obviously,
over, and they trying to make
you
me
don't
get out
wanna
the car. And
handle
I'm telling them I'm a paraplegic. I can't
person
get out the
that's
car
paraplegic
without no help.
in the way
And
that
these
they're
motherfuckers trying to fucking they on some bullshit. Just come down the street, bring some people with cameras.
But the
Come down the
indignity
street,
of
come
it all,
bring cameras and
watching
bring
it,
somebody so they can witness what's going on.
they snatch him by his hair.
I'm not getting out. I just told you I'm a paraplegic. I cannot get out.
I do not have to. I do not have to.
Can you call your
That
wife,
is,
sir,
that's
please?
just like to humiliate someone.
Yeah, sure. Let's pull it ahead a little bit. And all of this is caught on police body cam. Here we go.
Come on, bro. Listen, I am a paraplegic, bro. You can fucking hurt me. You can hurt me, bro. What are y'all doing, bro? You're making me I'm a paraplegic, bro. I'm trying to tell you that I got help getting in the car. Y'all can fucking hurt me. They can hurt me. Get out of the car. Damn, bro. I'm a paraplegic. Ow. You have to get out of the car. Ow. 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 Get out of the car. Somebody help. Somebody help. Something right here. Somebody help.
I'm just gonna stop it there.
Yeah. It's disturbing to watch. And all the trigger warnings are there. All the, the MO, will be to try to discredit him and to Q looking up in his past and saying he was arrested for marijuana or something like that. There's a report that says they brought canines that found a large bag of cash on the front floorboard containing over $22,000. Narcotics canine alerted the money on the money that meant that the money had been close proximity to illegal drugs. So that, so they're going to allege that he's a drug dealer. I don't know that he is or not, right? Regardless, if he is, He ain't running nowhere. Adam saying he ain't running away. He ain't using a weapon.
I know you didn't mean for that to be funny.
But it's a fact. He can't run from you.
Oh God. Okay.
He can't run from you. He's not going to kick you. He doesn't have a weapon. You secured his hands, right? He doesn't have a weapon. Why not? Okay, tell you what, cuff him and wait for the white shirt to get there and then finish, and then go, all right, well, what do we do next?
Correct.
As opposed to hastily snatching him out the car and doing damage. What I heard, when I understand that, an injury to his back, he sustained an injury to his back. And scrapes and stuff on his legs. I believe paraplegics, like if they get scrapes and stuff like that, that's a lot more dangerous than for us because you don't know what's there. They don't feel it, and it could lead to infection and all types of things. It's terrible. I think is it a chief that defended him? A Dayton FOP. I don't know what that means. Forgive my ignorance.
Probably Fraternal Order of Police.
Fraternal Order of Police. There you go. Large number 44. They say the officers followed the law, quote, their training and departmental policies and procedures. Sometimes the arrest of non-compliant individuals is not pretty, but it's necessary part of the law enforcement to maintain public safety, which is one of the fundamental ideologies of our society. That's not procedure. Snatching somebody by their hair.
Okay.
I don't think that's procedure.
Let's play worst case scenario. Let's say worst case scenario. He was a drug dealer. He's a drug dealer who you've stopped, who you're standing and having a conversation with, and he's not capable of fleeing on foot. So I don't see where that behavior was necessary by the police. Now, some will say, well, he could have stepped on the gas and pulled the car off, and that presents a danger with the police standing that close.
He's stepping on shit. They had him turn the car off for one. He's not able to step on anything. Once again, he ain't running nowhere.
Exactly. So
what are you gonna pick? He gonna take his leg and swing it at you? You gonna use his leg as a weapon? Take his leg.
You can't do that while I'm trying to be serious.
Use his leg as a weapon. How he kicks you? Now he picked it up and threw it at me. What?
Oh shit. Yeah. So, it seems to me, right? Like, so if that's procedure, then your procedure needs to be reevaluated, right? And sometimes common sense supersedes procedure and orders, right? It's just like the person who says, I was just following orders, and they did some heinous shit and they still got brought up on military crimes charges for doing dumb shit during times of war.
In the case of the officer Derek Chauvin, those other officers went to trial with him. So now they were following orders from him. He was the superior officer.
Yes.
And they were following orders. So, and they all end up in court.
So if that's the procedure needs to be reevaluated. It seems to me a better way to have handled that would have been to take his keys so he couldn't start the car, secure his hands, handcuff him, whatever, and wait for the proper people to get there to remove him from the car so you don't inadvertently injure this person, right? That was some ego trip shit that they was on. That was some ego trip shit.
I mean, that's not, and that's common. That's common. Now, I'm the law, you gonna obey me, period. Now, you gonna do what I said because I said so. What you saying is wrong, dude. Come on, huh? Anyway, I don't want this to turn into a cop bashing thing, but.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's a cop bashing thing. I think it's, they did some fucked up shit, so they are fucked up. I don't think that all cops are fucked up. I just think those those particular cops on that day did the wrong thing. They made bad choices. And I think I've said this in the past, to say that they are completely awful human beings or whatever, I would have to look at their record. I'd have to look at their record more. But on that day, they did the wrong fucking thing, and they should be held accountable for it.
I got you. Yeah. Okay. You say they're not awful. But if I walk up and slap the shit out of somebody in a wheelchair, I'm a bastard. Why would you do that?
I am not saying they're awful, and I'm not saying they're not awful. I'm saying the evidence that I have is this one day, and they were really fucked up on that day. I would have to look at their record to make a sweeping judgment completely.
Someone in a wheelchair could talk all the shit to you they wants to. They could deserve to get slapped the shit out of. They deserve to get your mouth smacked. But you don't get no cool points for it because they're in a wheelchair.
Like, how do you brag about that?
Right.
Yeah, I knocked this nigga out in a wheelchair.
Wheelchair. Okay. Yeah. Right. And that's how I'm looking at them. Like, he's in a wheelchair. He doesn't pose a threat. And there was no weapons found at the scene. There were no weapons. Officer Abby got no weapon. Anyway. Sorry.
Wow. Just a real quick story. We ain't got to spend a lot of time on it. I thought it was, I admittedly, I thought it was funny. I shouldn't think it's funny, but I thought it was funny.
Oh, those are the best ones. Do tell.
Chris Brown will not be prosecuted for slapping this woman's weave off.
Well, it was a bad weave to begin with. She shouldn't have had it on. She shouldn't have had it on, really. He did the world a favor by slapping that weave off her head. There you go. Thank you, Chris Brown. You did the world a service, and justice has been served.
How many times have you seen a fucked up weave and you want to just slap that shit off? Just like, get that shit off.
That's just terrible. That's horrible. You're not even trying to make it look like your own hair.
Oh, God.
You're not even trying. In fact, I can still smell the horse's ass it was attached to.
Oh. That wasn't the horse's ass. That was no, I'm kidding.
Mic just went out.
Oh, my mic went out in my back.
No.
Damn it.
Oh, that. Yeah. Check one.
Hear me? 1, 2. Don't stop. Stop. What about now?
No, you are still a distance away.
God damn it.
You can hear me though, right?
Yeah, I can hear you. That's fine. All of my meters are popping. Oh, wow.
Folks, welcome to the world. Teddy Riley. The spirit of Teddy Riley is with us right now. Shout out to Teddy. Yup.
He just had a birthday.
Happy birthday. I crack jokes, but I respect Teddy Riley to the utmost. It's just funny. He had, for someone to be such a huge producer and technological giant when it comes to music. And when he did verses, it all boiled down to aux cord in his phone that didn't work out.
And I'm still not.
No, sir.
Well, sounds like a good place to end the show. I don't know what happened.
Well, folks, we appreciate you watching. We appreciate you listening. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe. You go to our website, unpopinshow.com. Follow us on all socials at Unpopin Show. And make sure you hit if you're on YouTube, hit the bell, the notification bell, subscribe, like, comment, do all those things. Put a middle finger up. Say, I didn't like the way you talked about that paraplegic's legs. I hate the fact that you guys still like R. Kelly or don't like R. Kelly, whatever your position is. Hey, how could you like Chapelle? Don't you know he hates people and eats children? Whatever. In any case, comment, let us know how you feel about it, and we'll see you on the flip side. Thanks again for watching. Thanks again for listening, and we shall see you later, man.